The manager and the transformation, it was dramatic. And he was referred to us by a trustee. And he was a manager, good income, good credit. Everything seemed really good. And then we ran the credit bureau. The Visa cards were like $240,000. It was a high figure. On a fiduciary level, we did the cash flow and we said, sir, we can only get rid of half the debt. We can't get rid of all that debt. And he said, I'm an honorable man. Let's do a second mortgage to get rid of that $120,000. So we did it, and then we gave him in writing that we would not advise doing that because you're not addressing the core problem. And he said, no, let me do this and we'll be fine. So a year later, he called and he was crying. He said, it's Mr. So-and-so, you don't remember me. And I said, I do remember you, because not that many have $240,000 in cards. So what had happened, he had added another $100,000. So the balance was now $340,000, and the credit scores were ultra low. So I drove over to where he worked, and I said, look, it's very simple. Like, we've got no choice now. So a trustee gets rid of a chunk of the debt, and then we make an agreement and we rebuild your credit, retool you, and rebuild you. The trustee asked for a second mortgage to defray costs. We did that. He rebuilt his credit perfectly. Like, he really did a really good job. The official bank rules are you cannot do a mortgage with someone in proposal for 3 years, or some won't do it at all, right? We wanted to get him a trust mortgage, like to wrap it all together. And the trust company said no. The head of underwriting and 2 managers came down, and we went drinking beer at a pub, right? And then I mentioned this client, and the head guy said, there's no way we're gonna do that, right? But then he had 2 more beers. So after he had 2 more beers, I said, you know what? I think it's a really good deal. He said, run it by again. I said, well, he's got his credit's rebuilt. He's got a good job. He just needs a bit of a helping hand. And then the next day they approved it. Now we had the mortgage and we had the proposal, right? Which is still a big deal. And I phoned one of the main banks. This main bank, their fine print said, we will never do proposal. Even though it's in the fine print, I argued with the underwriter and explained it. So the underwriter said, I'll tell you what, we'll do 5-year 2.75. We'll pay out the mortgage and the proposal, and Bob's your uncle. He went to really low lows, and I was really worried for him. But it's a huge transformation. He was given a really big second chance. He never looked back from it.